Hi everyone, it's Carol Serby here. You're watching Body Talk Revolution TV, where you will learn ways your body is speaking to you and how to use this information to live to your full potential. Today we are going to talk about finding your courage, resilience, and the confidence to move forward. Why is this important? Well, I have learned that so many of us leave little bits and pieces of ourself behind all over the place. Starting when you're 2 years old, playing with your grandma till you're 6 and you're playing at your friend's house. Someone says something, does something, hurts you physically. You leave little bits of your soul and who you are behind. What happens when these things happen is we create a filter. Good morning, Andrea. We create a filter. And with these filters, what they do is they modify our behaviors. So I learned at 2 years old to behave this way wasn't safe. I learned at 6 years old that someone else thinks that behaving that way isn't safe. So every day, as we move through life, we come upon these circumstances. And the whole idea is as you get older, you're supposed to have some self-actualizations, some self-realizations that maybe what happened when you were 2 or 6 or 8 or 10 really doesn't or shouldn't have an impact on who you are today. So, but it does. So let's move through some of that stuff. It is the way we react to our circumstances that determines our feelings. So that's a famous quote by Dale Carnegie. And again, it's how we react to what's going on and putting it through all the filters that determines how we feel about things. So the question becomes, is this really how I feel? Or is this how my grandmother made me feel? Or my old boss made me feel? Or really starting to question all of that stuff that goes on. So while we're growing up, there are 5 main reasons why we lose courage and become less resilient. Number 1 is feeling the fear of the what if. Well, what if they don't like this? Or what if it doesn't happen the way I want it? Or what if, and add your own there. Second reason is we lose courage when facing the desire to follow our own heart. Again, because if you're brave enough to follow your own heart, there's going to be a lot of criticism along the way. A lot of, what? Who do you think you are? What do you think you're doing? So to follow your own heart is a brave thing, and a lot of us don't do it because it's not safe. Another reason we lose courage is in the face of adversity. When you're having to face making a tough decision, some of us tap out and we go, you know what? This is hard and this is going to have consequences and I'm not doing it. So we get stuck. We get stuck where we are. We feel less empowered to make decisions in the future. And we're just facing adversity and we get tired and we get dragged down. Another reason we lose courage is when you're making a stand for what you think is right. Again, everybody, even your friends, generally, they might have the same opinions as you, but when you get down to brass tacks, everybody's opinion tweaks just a little bit. So standing up in your own power for what you think is right might not totally jive with those people in your tribe and in your community. So it might create some adversity there, again, creating fear. And the last main reason why we lose courage is the fear of letting go of what's familiar. When we decide to make a change, to switch directions, to do something different, there's a familiarity in where you are at the moment that is pretty comfortable. You know, whether the situation is uncomfortable or not, at least you know what to expect, right? When you let go of what's familiar, you open yourself up to all sorts of, I'm hoping mainly positive experiences, but there will be some negative as well. So you guys know a little bit about me. My name is Carol Serby, and I am founder of Body Talk Revolution, where we learn how the body is speaking to you, and we learn to listen and be able to apply that information to live your full potential. What else do you need to know about me? Nothing. We're all good. So, when we talk about gaining courage, and when we talk about confidence, the first thing that comes to mind with me is about being in the flow. And being in the flow of life creates a better ability to cope. It creates a better performance, and it creates better positive emotions. And they say that top executives report being 5 times more productive while being in the flow. So that's just executives. But what about moms when they're dealing with their kids? If they're feeling as though life is flowing, mom's not getting too stressed out. Or dad, or, maybe at work. Things are flowing at work. Things are good, right? All of a sudden, our emotions are a little bit more on an even keel rather than up and down. So getting into the flow is a super important thing. Musicians talk about being in the groove, and sportsmen talk about being in the zone. So I don't know what it's called for moms. And I use moms a lot as an example because I am a mom. I'm a wife. I'm a mother. I'm a business owner. I have 2 businesses. So, for me, flow is really important. Because when shit hits the fan in one, oh man. Anyways, a couple of things that you must know and practice to be in the flow. And we'll go a little bit more into depth in all of these. Usually I try and keep my lessons to about 20 minutes, but this one might be a little bit longer. You must have a goal or a challenge, an intention. You must be able to relax. You must develop an inner trust, also known as an intuition, and you must know where your edges are. We'll go a little bit deeper into all of those right now. So staying in the flow, step number 1. For those that are more linear minded, we can call these goals. Let's define our goals. But for those of you that are more spiritually minded, let's look at it from the point of view of what do you want to create? What is it? Where have you been stuck? Where do you need courage and resilience? And what do you want to move forward to? So, where have you been stuck? We talked about the 4 or 5 things already. The fear of the what if, the following of your heart, the adversity, the making a stand for what is right, or letting go of what is familiar. Where are you stuck? Where do you need to create courage and resilience? In your family life, in your business life, in your career, life in general? Where is that? What do you want to move forward to? Do you want to start your own business? Do you want to make a job change? Do you want to find and marry the love of your life? What are the changes? So what is it that you want to create? And I encourage you to write this down. And when you have time and when you can really sink into this, I haven't done the PDF yet, but I will have the PDF with these questions for you available, let's say by the end of the day. Okay? So to achieve the goals around courage, you must be able to articulate what these goals are, what you need courage for, where you're going to go, and allow your brain to be able to go to work on the action, the doing part. Okay, that doing part, that's important. The next step of moving forward to confidence is starting to create synchronicity between the conscious and unconscious parts of our brain. So there's about 15% of what we do is conscious, and the remainder is unconscious. So again, when you start to look at some of these things, start to consider some of your past behaviors, okay? And really start to question where some of these things are coming from. So staying in the flow, sorry, just thinking here. Staying in the flow, what do you want to create? Well, what do you want it to look like? So for me, one of the best ways to really dig into what I want is to be able to see it. So close your eyes. And again, I'll put this all in a PDF. So these exercises you can go back and do later. Close your eyes. Create a very clear picture. You need to focus on it often. And you need to see it in positive energy. Now, closing your eyes is pretty straightforward. Creating a clear picture. So everything in that picture has to be of your creation. I encourage you to make sure that even right down to the color of the paint on the walls, that you have consciously chosen that color. And it's not a default color of the office that you worked in when you were your first job, or maybe the color that your grandma had in the spare bedroom, right? I want you to consciously create everything, okay? Focus on it often. A trick I use is I have an alarm on my phone. I set it for 8 o'clock in the morning and 8:30 at night. And I use this trick for a couple of different things. I use it for my gratitude. I use it for my angel prayers. And along with the angel prayers is usually what I'm focusing on. So again, you get this vision in your mind of what you want to create. Ask your angels to help you for it, and what's your gratitude around it. So I do that twice a day, a little ding on my phone, ding, and it doesn't matter where I am. Even if I'm brushing my teeth, it just reminds me, oh yeah, let's take a minute. Let's focus on this stuff. This stuff is important for me to be able to move forward, okay? And then seeing it all in positive energy. I would encourage you to make the image in your mind look like the sun is shining on it. Make it bright and light and joyful and cheerful. Bright and light and joyful and cheerful. We don't want any shadow areas. If there is shadow areas, you need to look at that area. If you can't clear that shadow out and there's a dark zone, you need to look, take your picture, focus it down to that dark zone and say to yourself, what is it in this area that I have not consciously put in here? And then, go through your checklist. Again, is it the type of chair? Is it the color of the carpet? Is it the style of the carpet? Whatever your vision is, wherever there seems to be a place where you can't move a shadow out, look down. What is it? Okay? So I really encourage you to do that. To consciously create everything that is in there as yours. Staying in the flow, step 2, relaxing. I encourage you big time to start a meditation practice. I know a lot of you are going, but I'll tell you why. Meditation doesn't have to be this big, huge thing. Meditation can be 5 minutes sitting in your chair, closing your eyes, paying attention how you breathe. The idea behind meditation, especially for those of you that don't really see value in it, I'm going to tell you. The idea is to take us from the alpha state to the beta state, okay? It takes us from the doing state to the creative state, okay, to allow inner guidance to come through. And even if it's just for a few minutes. And the other thing is when you're in the beta state, your inner critic is silenced. So all that mind chatter, that monkey mind, stops. Okay, so you're much more open to inspiration, to intuition, all of that. So I've done lots of meditations in the past, and I will find one and I will put a link to it for you so that you can just do your own meditation. I'll just make a note here. I'll create one called a breathing meditation, and it'll be only 5 to 6 minutes long, and I'll put a link in the bottom there. Okay. So meditation allows your creative genius to move in. So I encourage you to meditate, even if it's 5 minutes laying on the couch at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. If that's all you can do, then that's all you can do, and that's fine, but just start. Okay. Simply stated, the process of meditation consists of either seeing something, feeling something, or hearing something. Sorry, I had a paper that was going to fall down. So it's important that you're focusing on either seeing, feeling, or hearing. Okay? If you're trying to visualize something, obviously it's seeing. If you've got a pain in your body, feeling that. Actually really allowing yourself to focus on where that pain is and how it feels. You're going to find that the pain actually alleviates. It's quite interesting. It has to do with edges, and it has to do with you can apply a physical pressure to a pain, and so if you have a pain and the physical pressure and you apply the pressure, it actually helps to relieve the pain. Well, this is a physical pressure, so what we can do is during meditation, in feeling it, that's a more esoterical pressure, but what it is, it's a focus on. So it's a pushback against. It's a relieving of the pain. It's like saying, "Hey, pain, I see you. I see you. What do you need to tell me?" Okay? Or hearing something. Okay? So listening for your guides, listening for your inner voice, listening for your future directions. Okay? So staying in the flow. Step number 3, intuition. Also known as your sixth sense, your inner voice, your inner sense, your innate wisdom, your gut feeling, or some of you that don't believe in any of that, I'm sure that you've all said, "I don't know how I knew. I just knew." Intuition. Gotcha. And intuition has nothing to do with ego. Okay? It has absolutely nothing to do with ego. Intuition is the thought you had before you even realized you had a thought. I call it the whisper. Now, how does that work? So what happens with intuition is, and everybody is intuitive. Like, just, if you're saying, "But Carol, I'm not intuitive," I say hogwash. And the reason is intuition has everything to do with your root chakra and everything to do with your survival skills. Everybody has those innate, ingrained survival skills that we've evolved with over millenniums, okay, over thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Okay, everybody has intuition. It's just a matter of how tapped into it you are or are not. Okay, so the way it works is everybody has a thought. Okay, great, you have a thought. But what happens is those filters that we were talking about earlier, you take that thought and you process them through, "Oh, well, that boy said, last time I had a thought like this and I said it out loud, that person said that I was crazy and blah, 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 blah. And then over here, my grandma says this about those kinds of thoughts, and my dad says this about those kinds of thoughts. And that lady in the supermarket 6 years ago said this about those kinds of thoughts." And we have all these filters. So we take our thought and we put it through all these filters that we've created inside of us. And it goes, and then it comes out as a sentence, a statement, whatever. The thing is the thought itself and what comes out of your mouth is not the same thing. It's not. Because you've put it through all this other stuff first. So what intuition is it's that thought before the filters. So this is something that you just need to practice. Just need to practice and trust yourself. Just trust yourself in knowing what that thought was. And it really literally is whatever the first thing that comes to your mind is. And then when someone says, hey, I see you had a thought, because your face goes, right? I see you had a thought. And sometimes you say, oh, no, I didn't. Oh, no, I didn't. Or sometimes you go, yeah, but it's not safe to quite say it that way, so I'm going to put it through all my filters. And before I actually say it, I'm going to, and out it comes, okay? So we need to back off the filters and recognize the thought as just a thought, okay? Recognize that thought as your intuition, okay? Intuition allows you to make good decisions. It allows you to be flexible. It allows you to have a reliable sense of who's trustworthy, being able to read people. It allows you to truly know who you are. It allows you to embrace your instincts and follow your personal power. The 8 steps to developing intuition: to meditate, to pay attention to all 5 of your senses. Sorry, my husband was going to come in and I had to wave to him. So 8 steps to developing your intuition. 1 is to meditate. 1 is to pay attention to all 5 of your senses. Test your hunches. Get outside. Check in with how your body feels. Engage in your left brain repetitive activities. Practice sensing people. And go within to trust your gut. Again, all of these will be put on a PDF. I just want to touch on the left brain activity just a little bit. Really good left brain activities are like driving. Some of you might feel fully inspired when you're driving. Running. Anything that's repetitive like that. Some people, maybe it's vacuuming or walking or just going on the beach and picking seashells, right? All left brain stuff. So your right brain is just really freed up to get inspired, get inspired is the word I'm looking for. So again, I'll put these all in a PDF and they'll be available later this afternoon, and you can download the PDF and work through that, okay? Great. So staying in the flow, step number 4, your edges. Edges is a fairly new concept to me, and I am really grateful to have come across the information on them. So with edges, we live within the comfort of where we are. And when you've made a decision and when you're trying to create something, it really is where your feet hit the highway. Okay, so we have an inspiration. It comes down through our crown chakra, goes through our intuitive center. Does it feel good? Goes through our communication center. Let's talk about it. How does it feel? How does my will feel around it? How does my heart feel around it? Getting into the personal power center. Can I actually do this? Into your sacral chakra. Can I actually create this? And then into your root chakra, the actual product, whatever it is, hits the highway. Okay, so it's literally making your creation into a physical thing. What happens is somewhere between your personal power chakra, where you say, oh, can I do this? And it actually hitting the highway in your root chakra, it gets stuck. Okay, and you can't move forward, and you have a really hard time moving forward, and you lose perspective. When you come to these edges of your creation, and it's actually time to do it, right? You've gathered all your information, you've initiated some changes that are coming, maybe not quite here yet, and you're at that precipice. Okay? You can really lose perspective here. You can really lose thought and sight of what is it I'm doing this for? Because you've been working so hard in the creation that you lose the perspective and you realize that, oh my God, I'm actually now ready to step out and do this. Why am I doing this? Okay, so you lose perspective, okay? The fear will race through you. At your edge, the fear will absolutely race through you. That's a normal part of being at your edge, okay? Forgetfulness. You are creating something brand new, okay? And you haven't created the neurosynapses yet to take it necessarily from A to B to C to D by memory. So you're going to have to really work hard at remembering, your documents, remembering your product to take to your show, remembering to order the raw materials in order to make your product. Like, you just really get forgetful. So organization is huge, 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 huge. And resistance to taking the next step to fulfilling your dreams. Okay? When you're at the edge, sometimes you're there, and then you go, oh, there's something shiny. I'm going to go over there. Because you're at that edge and you need to take that next step. And you're scared and you're forgetful and having a hard time staying in your perspective. And you're going, oh my God, do I really want to do this? And you distract yourself by something shiny over there. Okay? So edges are really interesting things. So you might say to yourself, but Carol, I just can't do it. And I say hogwash. I say you are absolutely, positively capable of this. Now that you know exactly what the process involves and entails, I have every confidence. You know what the distractions are going to be. You know exactly what you need to do. The confidence to move forward. Becoming is not a function of age. It is a function of your willingness to look ahead. See the opportunities life brings your way and then act on them. Reach for that golden ring. And the last thought I want to leave you with here today is, if you dwell on trivial matters, your life will be trivial. So I challenge you today to go out and create what's in your heart, whatever that looks like to you. There you go. Challenge accepted? Maybe? Okay. So your call to action today will be to download the worksheet, which I'll put up a little later today. It will help you guys get really clear on what you might want for yourselves. I want you to feel free to like this video, to share this video, to make comments on this video. I would love to hear what insights and ahas you've learned. That's great. And what else? Don't forget to share it, because I'm really trying to build my tribe and my community. And if you want to join Body Talk Revolution, we have a closed group as well that gets more into the training on how the body actually speaks to you. You're more than welcome to come over and ask for joining that page on, come on over and ask to join that page. Anyways, I wish you all well. Have a fantastic day, and I look forward to reading your comments in the future. Thank you so much. Bye.